Hi, I'm Stu Mason. In this video, we're going to have a quick look at using MCPs and project-based rules within Cursor. There's a trend going around on dev Twitter at the moment, started by Peter Levels, of building games, browser-based games. He built this flight sim, and I think it made 30 grand this month. Someone bought the moon or Mars or something for $10,000. I don't want to think about that. There is a second trend going around on dev Twitter right now where people are using models, powerful models like Claude 3.7. And what it's trying to do is everything. It's trying to everything in one shot, or zero shot. And it's destroying code bases. So what I wanted to do is see if I could make a browser-based game, but then bring it down into my flow so I could use MCPs and use project-based rules to really try and control it. This is something that I've been working on for just an hour or so. And it's working out quite cool. So in my project rules, I'll go through this rule in a minute, but this rule is the key. This rule, I think it's BMad Codes. Let me confirm that. Yes, BMad Codes. Check out his video. This guy, BMad Code, has written this rule. And this rule is how to create rules, or it's telling Cursor this is how you create rules, which if you go into Cursor and say, you know what, we need to set a rule here. I'm going to go to Cursor settings and I'm going to create a rule. You click on add new rule and it's just a blank page. TS linting. I want something to do with linting in my TypeScript, and then you're just presenting with this. Like, this is the sort of thing that I am off. I'm doom scrolling. I'm not doing anything, mate. I'm not going to write a rule. But this guy, BMad Code, brilliant video. Watch his video. I'll put the link in the show notes to that repo, which is a link to the video on it. This is, and he's spent a lot of time on it. It's ace. It's got good examples, bad examples. It tells you how to create a rule. I like to, when I work in teams, we use mainline development. Just quickly while we're here as well, what is an MCP? Model Context Protocol. It's a way of giving real context, real data to a model. So I'm using all these MCPs together. I'm using the Github one so it can go away and create PRs for me. I've got the Github flow rule that says you branch out from rule. Oh, look at this is doing here quickly. It's rerunning my migrations. So I've got a Supabase one saying this is what my store works like. All the commands that you need to use Supabase are in my package.json. So you should be running migrations. You should be creating migrations in there. If I go into Supabase migrations, it's adding all them for me. It knows that they're there and it's running them for me. And then look, check this out. So what it's done is it's run npm run dev. It's got that up and running. Now it's going to try and open up Puppeteer. So this should boot up a browser. It should boot up a browser and it should go to the page that it's just been working on. It reckons it's got Monster Store. So I'm building, do you remember Barcode Battlers from the 90s? No, I wouldn't either. It's like just some crappy game, handheld. And you could scan barcodes and it would create monsters and you could make those monsters fight. Rather than scanning barcodes, we're scanning repos. The Puppeteer one isn't great. I've also not given it too much instruction. It's not got enough context. There's more work to be done around that. I can show you how this is set up really quickly. Let's close this. This is another thing that I'm toying with at the moment, is template.new, and it's just a prompt that'll help me create a brand new application without using a template repository. I'm just gonna grab this and I'm going to dump it into Cursor. So it should create a Next.js project. It should add Supabase to it. It should add all of that to my repo, and then it should sit there and wait for me. It should be like, what next? And I'll show you what's next after that. Right, so look at that. I know that's a bit slower than git clone a template, but we're on latest stable for everything. In the workflows, we've got our pull request thing. We've got this Husky Precommits set up here. It's running lint stage at npm build. We've got everything set up exactly how I want it to be. We've also got this plan and this feature setup thing here that's saying like what it's doing. So this should be on main. If I go into here, give this a refresh, we're cooking, we're moving. Now, next thing that I need to show you, is this, the Cursor rules. So this is BMad's code. I talked about it earlier, and he's setting up he's telling Cursor how to use rules. So I'm going to go Cursor settings, I'm going to go to rules, and I'm going to add a new rule. Now I'm going to reference this rule. So watch this. I'm going to say, mate, you know exactly how I want you to behave with Git. And check it out. So all files, yeah, correct. We're using Git, enforce Git workflow when creating or modifying code to maintain consistent development processes. You know how to work how I work now. Amazing. So I'm just asking it to make a landing page for this first bit. Boom, it's making the documentation as I've asked it to. So inside features, we're going to get one landing page.md. The purpose of this is to try and get it to just stop from trying to one-shot the entire world. So we've got some TSX files in this change, so they run through a linting this time, and then we run the build again. Yes, it slowed me down right now, but like, it can fix itself now, so what's stopping this from running 24 hours a day? Right, so now it's going to try and use the GitHub API. That's not going to work. That's not going to work, babe. But we can then go into cursor settings, MCPs. I'll walk through them very quickly while I'm here. We can go into here. So you got command or you got service sent events. Command is synchronous. Can you create a pull request? Here's the data. Yes, created a pull request. Thank you very much. Oh, can you create this file? Blah, blah, blah. It's one-on-one. SSE is a URL, so it's more like a server. It's service sent events. So it's an actual asynchronous server that goes off and does the processes and comes back. That's how I understand it. If that's wrong, please let me know. So I've told it to create the pull request. I've given it the right access this time. So if we go in here, the pull request, there it is. Let's tell it one last thing. And once again, it's so much easier when it has the browser. It has access to the browser logs, the console logs. It's running on 3002 there because I've got it open in a few. Oh no, is it picked it up? Do you know where you're going? Ah, no, it doesn't. The amount it added, were you expecting something a bit more? I was. So that's it. That's how I'm using Cursor at the moment. I'm forcing it into this mainline flow. I'm going to continue with this flow. I'm going to continue to improve it. I'm going to continue to improve that template.new as well, because I like the way that sets me up. That sets me up for success, you know? Sets me up early so I can be just churning away at this stuff. Let's go.